Hello and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Woodin. I'll be your host. I'm joined by my co-host, Kat Zigwolf. I got it. Anybody that watches this show in the past knows that I always butcher names, but I'm actually on a new thing tonight where I'm not going to do that. I promise. And I started off right.
Good luck with that.
Well, with that being said, it's great to have the viewers back. It's great for us to be back. We've got a great show for you, as always, tonight. Somebody that hasn't been here before. It's an organization that I'm looking forward to learning more about, and I'm sure you are too. So with us is Sarah Lattiano. Got it?
Got it.
And she is with Float 41. And to her right, we have the legendary Nico Oliveras.
Close enough, brother.
Yeah, how long have we known each other?
Quite a few years.
It doesn't matter how long. I always do it. Never mind. We're not going to go down that road.
Got my first name
Me
right.
and names.
The Greek freak. Everybody knows that.
Nick is actually here to give testimony to what Sarah is saying. Going to tell us. He's been involved, or he's participated quite a few times. Nico, you'll hear me say both names tonight. He's on our second show, so that's going to be, you're going to see a lot of him tonight. So
What's to make up for the three that he couldn't make because of COVID?
well, we've been trying to get him in here for quite some time.
I sent some
years.
great reputable people.
Yeah.
Yes, he has sent a lot of people our way. So we thank him for that. He is the reason she's there.
Exactly. Sarah, let's get going because there's a lot to talk about, and after looking at your website, I can see where this possibly could be a two-parter down the road. There's a lot of services that you provide, and we're going to let's jump in by talking about your military service. We always like to give credit to those that have served. Where did you serve? What branch?
Yeah. So I was in the Air Force for 17 years.
Yeah.
I grew up in East Hartford, so down the road, and naturally, senior year of high school,
Yeah.
I joined the Air National Guard. So I joined senior year of high school. I was able to participate all the way through high school, and then in the summertime, I went to basic training, and then I was a Guard baby, so grew up here. I was only at the Bradley Air National Guard base there, but I saw it all. So I joined in 2004, right before BRAC. We had the A-10s. I was aircrew flight equipment, so I got to go out to the flight line, go on the,
Everybody loves a warthog.
We were just talking before we started this segment about food, and they always said the Navy had the best food. I was Navy, and I tell you what.
No. Navy had the most food.
Yeah, probably. But the Air Force, you couldn't beat your restaurants. We had chow hall. You had restaurants. Nico, we're actually Greek Army.
Yes, sir. We moved from Greece in 1976 here. I was 5. I grew up here in Connecticut. All I want to do is join the military.
Yeah.
And but because I had an eye disability, I wasn't afforded that luxury.
Yeah.
So I was a little bitter. I talked to my dad, and I was like, "Hey, help me get into the Army." And I'm like, "I can go back and serve in the Greek Army as a volunteer," which is unheard of because they're trying to get out. I'm trying to get in.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Anyway, got the paperwork done, and I did a year's service because I was out of the country more than 7 years. It's a very backward system. Regardless of all that, all I want to do is infantry, so they put me to mechanized infantry.
Yeah.
So, those poor little guys running with machine guns on the side of a tank, building foxholes, getting dirty, that was me. But my forte was I put in and took out landmines.
Wow.
So that was my job.
And you're still here, so I guess you
still
were good
here.
at it.
Yeah. Well, we always like to recognize our veterans who are on here. Of course, Kat, Army.
Cold War,
Yeah.
German linguist.
Navy right here.
Fantastic.
we got a panel of all veterans today. And
Hoorah.
we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, from the show. The viewers want to thank you for your service.
Thank you. And thank you for yours, and Katrina.
Yeah.
God bless.
All the way around.
Let's jump into it. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about your business, the name, the significance of it, and then what is float therapy, flotation?
So the name of our business is Float 41. And 41 is just our number, my husband and myself. So when we started this journey building the business, it was a very near and dear number to us. And when we were on this journey, there were many moments of, hey, it's not going to happen for you. You've tried so hard, and sorry, just not in the cards. And then that number popped up. And so 41, it just felt so fitting. This is our family. This
It's your
is
magic number.
This is what we're meant to do. And all the silly float puns were taken. So we said, Float 41, it had that alliteration, and here we are. Flotation therapy is also known as REST, so reduced environmental stimulation therapy. And what that means is it's nothing. It's the absence of all sensory input into the brain and the nervous system. Imagine having a power cord on the back of your head and just pulling it from all input, right? We need it. We need it so bad. So floating is a big oversized bathtub filled with 10 inches of water. So it's only that deep, but saturated with 1,400 pounds of Epsom salt. And so you just float.
Wow.
Wow.
And just float. Our tanks come with lights and music, but the idea is that we're creating this environment that is free of all of that input so that your fight or flight system actually can slow down and almost turn off and just unplug. And in that spot, that float state we call it, is where the true healing is.
And Nick has done this several times, so
Yes.
that's why he's here, is
Yeah.
to tell a little bit about the experience firsthand.
So a mutual friend of Sarah and I turned me on to it. He goes, it would really help you. I'm in the restaurant business, so that chaos, that stress level is pretty high every day. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. So I went to our West Hartford location on the motorcycle, actually. It was a beautiful day. I did the float. It took me a little while to get adjusted, and my first time, when I left there, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I was so clear. I actually went to my motorcycle, I opened up the tour pack and started writing. Like, I had all these ideas rush in my head. I was completely stress-free, and I'm like, what kind of voodoo stuff is this?
Yeah.
So then I had to come back and do it again, and I've been doing it now for a little over 2 years. After I was in the Hartford Hospital for COVID for 10 days,
I remember that.
I was in a bad place.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm here today. But I started doing float religiously, and it's been amazing. And now that her new location in Cromwell, phenomenal. She has an infrared room. Just sit there and let it all sweat out. I can't really express the scientific part of it, but for me, it's relieves stress, anxiety, inflammation, joint pain.
Nice.
I'm truly blessed to have Sarah in my life.
Yeah. It's like I said, I looked at the website before we came on, and it got my attention to the point where I was copying and pasting all the information out. Now, in Cromwell, whereabouts in Cromwell is it?
It's 17 Shenpike. If you know Cromwell,
Is that Route 3?
it is.
Yeah.
Do you know where Taco
Okay.
Bell
I know
is?
what that is.
Yes.
Yes. It was a brown
Don't tell
building.
my cardiologist I know
Right?
where that is.
It's that building in the corner, right next
Okay.
to Taco Bell, where the light intersects, Route 3 intersects with
Okay.
them.
All right. Yeah, it's and we had talked about you're located in West Hartford too?
West Hartford as well. That's the original location. And our Cromwell location opened 6 months ago.
Nice.
Where in West Hartford are you?
It's in Bishop's Corner.
Okay.
We're in
Most
a
people
big-
know where the Bishop's Corner is.
Yep. On the Bloomfield line there. We love it. We're in the big shopping plaza where Target is and the paper store, and we're tucked in the back. And that's my baby. We opened January of 2020, so right before
Tough
the
gig.
world shut down.
Now, how did you not only survive COVID, but expand? I mean, that's a lot of people and businesses perished.
We were a brick and mortar water spa in the middle of COVID is
Yeah.
what everybody saw us as. The fact that we not only made it, but that we expanded is a true testament to the modality. It is a touch-free modality. It's one of the cleanest environments that you can be in. So our tanks are filled with 1,400 pounds of Epsom salt, 11 to 1,400 pounds, which is very antimicrobial.
Yeah.
And then our filtration system uses a 1 micron filter, UV light, ozone, and hydrogen peroxide
Oh my.
every time somebody goes in there
Oh,
afterwards.
so it's like
filtered.
sanitized
It
each and
is.
every time.
Yep.
So
And
that's
the
good.
ventilation is incredible because of the humidity. So when COVID hit, floating was one of the most ideal modalities. We were floating people not for something fun to do as a date day or an experience. We were floating people that didn't know if tomorrow existed, right? Healthcare workers, first responders, teachers, people have just lost loved ones. I mean,
And they were pulling long hours. I'm sure if anybody needed some restoration and absence of activity, that's a target market right there.
it was the hardest thing I've ever seen people go through, but it's the reason why we're here and the reason that got us through. So it's really a testament to the modality. On paper, we never should have opened. On paper, we never should have made it a month. On paper, we never should have made it to the summer of COVID. And somehow, I just knew in my gut that the world needed this modality. I mean, floating is the reason why I'm here today. Floating is the reason why I'm a mother to my children now. And, the world needs this. And my biggest fear in COVID was not getting the opportunity to show the world what we had. But I just knew. And every day it got better and better. And then here we are through COVID, opened up our second center. We own the building in Cromwell. I mean, we just got so fortunate throughout this process, but it's because we're able to help so many people and make a difference.
We're talking about COVID and all that, and just during that time, and you use the word perish, there was a lot of businesses that did perish. For years to thrive is a testament on, what you do there.
Well, and you think about it, for millennium, we've known of baths, the Roman baths, the in Britain, Bath of Britain, in German, Baden-Baden. I mean, this is a real draw for health benefits. So the fact that you can bring it into today's world with today's technology and the sanitation aspect of it is it's like the best of everything.
Now, I happen to wasn't paying attention, inadvertently went ahead with one of the questions.
Oh, that's all right. I jumped out to the next one. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we'd like to know is how did you first discover flotation therapy?
So back years ago, when I was in the Air Force, not only was I in the Guard, but I was active Guard. So I joined at 17. At 19 years old, I wanted more, and I wanted more. And I was a full-timer there. I was a technician, and then I was an active Guard and Reserve there. And I bopped around between unit to unit, doing really amazing, important work, standing up units from a personnel organizational perspective. Unfortunately, shutting some units down, but I went wherever there was a need. So that was amazing, and it was powerful work. It was 24/7 work. That power, I was responsible for travel and pay and health insurance and people's benefits and just making all of the behind the scenes things work. And then I became a mom, and I didn't have room for both. I tried. I thought I was giving all to both, and I think that I was. But then what wasn't getting anything was myself. So I put my career first. I put my family first, and then I kind of fell. So
You didn't put Sarah.
I didn't. Sarah wasn't in the equation at all. There was no time to work out. There was no time to eat right. And I developed severe health concerns directly related to that lifestyle and me not taking care of myself. But I had a smile on my face and I did my job, right? And inside you just start to crumble. So if you're not filling your cup up, your body will shut down. And that happened to me in silence because I didn't say anything. And so I was that drove me into a pretty dark spot. I turned into a person that I didn't even recognize, right? When I looked in the mirror, there wasn't Sarah. There was just
A shell.
a shell. I found out a couple years ago that at the time my 5 and 3-year-old, my 5-year-old son referred to me as a mombi, a zombie mom.
Ouch.
Because I wasn't present. I was there, but I wasn't what I needed to be for them because I was a shell, right? And so when I was at one of my darkest moments, my husband was like, "That's it. I've heard this thing on podcasts. We're going." And he just pulled me out of bed. We drove up to Northampton, Mass, where there were float tanks, and one 60-minute float changed my life forever.
Wow.
One 60-minute float shed the stuff. It removed the vice off my chest. It removed that 24/7 nausea feeling, and it gave me hope. Gave me hope for tomorrow. Gave me hope for a week. It gave me hope for that there's a better way of life, and it comes with filling up your cup and taking care of you. And that's where this all changed. So that night we went home and we started researching, what is this? And it became our passion. So we worked hourlessly, in the middle of the night, all night. But for the first time in a while, I saw light at the end of the tunnel, and that just kept going and going. And then, we opened in 2020. So it took about 2 years for that whole process to come through. And now I'm here helping everybody else.
You know what? It was meant to be.
Yep.
It was meant to be. I mean, you both had the same effects going at the first time.
So our friend Justin, they served together. He's incredible, and if it wasn't for him pulling me aside, his generosity towards me, and introducing me to Sarah, I would have never found out about float. Maybe I would have, but not in the right capacity. Float has definitely changed my life. It's enhanced it, actually. I cannot imagine my life without floating, especially some of the attributes that it has. And it's great for PTS. It's great for a lot of ailments that you might have. All you have to do is try it. And Katrina would know because
He got me a gift certificate, so I am looking very much forward to that. I had my own medical stuff, so I was waiting on that, but he's like, "Nah, just go."
We're ready for you. Whenever
Excellent.
you are ready, you have a home here.
And thinking of resurrecting zombies, you serve veterans and first responders. I mean, you're open to the whole community, but what sets you apart? What makes you different from other wellness centers? Because we're all looking for help.
I end them, right? That was me. The life of a veteran or a first responder is, you're always on. You can never turn off. And, there's what makes our center different is I know their language. I can speak to them. I can create an environment where I don't need to ask you a bunch of questions when you walk in. You come in, I say your name, I give you an orientation, right? And we get you in the tank. But, just knowing that they're always in control, I speak their language. I know how to create an environment where
You're one of us. You're not just, I'm
Right.
here to help.
I'm
We
here
get
to
a lot
help
of
you.
that, but you are one of us, and this does help.
we have a lounge where, after their float, we encourage them to come in and sit down, whether you talk to me or not, or just sit, right, and have tea, or I'll just sit in the room with you
Nice.
if you want to.
Yes.
Just
Let it
creating that
sit
environment.
in, yes.
And, they want to feel safe. They want to be able to turn it off. You're not talking to anyone. No one's touching you. This is that environment that is just for you to repair yourself.
It's like the
Nothing's wrong.
ultimate stand down,
Right.
where everything is, you're off duty, there's nothing further, no action required.
Deep breath.
That's it.
Exhale.
I love it.
nice cup of tea and a chocolate.
Oh, yeah. You know.
I love my chocolates.
What time do you close tonight?
Yeah, right.
9 p.m. we can have tanks and chocolates open for you.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, but we do a lot with veterans. Obviously, is my passion behind all of this. We are now starting to get the word out to a lot of the local first responders, and
That's huge.
That kind of brings us into the next question, as far as what are your goals in 2024 for the veteran component for your business?
to float as many veterans as I can. In 2020, when we started this, we are a for-profit business. I need to feed my children. We need to grow and bring floating accessible to everyone. My goal out of 2024 is to stand up our nonprofit organization aside the float center with the sole purpose of generating funds and awareness for veteran mental health and physical health to float as many veterans for free as possible.
Nice.
We have a huge
Awesome.
veteran component. We've floated over about 2,500 veterans for free so far, but I don't want there to be a cap on it. I want any veteran in need to have a home and a float tank. And so that is, now that we have our second center up and running in Cromwell, that is the next step, is to how do we connect with the veteran community.
We've got a couple minutes before we get to the last question. What's a quick process of the float tank? I mean, how long are you in there for? What would one
What to expect?
What exactly? What would one expect?
So you have your own private float suite. You do float in your birthday suit here, so there's a shower right outside of the float tank. So you get undressed, you shower, and then we offer 60 to 90-minute float sessions. Sounds incredibly long, but it's not. Tank time, float time, once you remove the input, time just disappears, and you just float and almost detach and get into a place of peace and healing.
There's something about salt. I mean, the salt lamps, obviously not as what you guys do, but I mean, there's always been something that with the
Purifying.
purifying, even air.
At their at their West Hartford location, she does have a salt cave, which I highly
nice.
recommend. Do the salt cave first, and then do a 60-minute float.
I'd like to try that. I had talked to you about
Well,
that.
anything with a cave, we know you're all in.
Just hiding out in a cave somewhere.
We
Well,
would love
you know,
to have you.
now, how do people find out more about you? What's your
So we're all out there. We have a website. It's www.float41.com, and we are on Facebook at float_41 and on Instagram as well. Same thing.
I tell you, it's very interesting. I knew this was going to be a great, informative show. We if we have time down the road, love to have you back.
I would love that opportunity, and I would love to invite all of you into the center.
Yeah.
And,
That's a great idea.
Experience
Proof is
it.
in the pudding.
Yeah.
Now, what days are you open? What hours? I mean, is it?
we have a float tank available 7 days a week. West Hartford is open every day, half days on Monday. And then Cromwell, we are open 6 days a week, closed for preventative maintenance on Tuesdays. So there is a float tank in the area 7 days a week for people in need.
Wow.
Nice.
Need to make a road trip.
Yeah.
That's in the middle for you, right? From
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Hartford's no problem. Yeah.
I spend my days in Cromwell right now.
Yep.
We are in that newborn baby phase. So I am there open and close every single day, 7 days a week, and it's a lot, but I have a great team in West Hartford that will take great care of you wherever you want to go, and come try the float tank.
Yeah, and whoever's going to try it out don't make any plans afterwards. Just chillax. Let it soak. Let it be wonderful for a while.
Let the effects take hold.
Yeah. Keep enjoying it.
The busy, life will be there. You need to recharge your own battery.
That's something that we've always looked to have on this show since 2013, since the show's been around. We've always liked to have shows like this, for mental health, because obviously that's a key.
Most of us have some dog in that fight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. With that being said,
it's that time.
episodes go by so fast. It'd be great to have you back again sometime, Sarah.
I would love that, and thank you for the opportunity. This has been truly amazing.
With that being said, I want to give something we don't normally do, or we haven't done in a while, is give a shout out to our sponsors. We have the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 254 in Hartford. They're the ones that donated the mugs, along with help from a buddy of mine, Bruce Kaczynski. He helped out also. They're costly, and without help from our sponsors, we wouldn't have it. So Pam Shea, who donated the POW MIA flag years back. We want to thank those three for what they've done for this show. And with that being said, thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Nick, we're going to see you again. You'll be coming on next. Kat, I think that's it.
That's it. That's a wrap.
With that being said, we want to thank the viewers for watching. See you next time on the Veterans Corner. Good night.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.
I'm your host, Kurt Barwis. Today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Andrew Lynn.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Woodin.
Decision for ourselves for this week if we want to be made well.
Hi, welcome to the Crack of Dawn. It's Dawn Lombardi. I'm starting the painting. It's going to be the cliffs with some water. Love it.
He took me on the sets of Lost in Space, Batman.
Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time.